Welcome back. And so it's a very busy international scene currently. Of course, you heard earlier that the president has been able to secure, business interests to Nigeria to the tune of 50 billion naira in proposed interest. But what's also dollars, right? Yeah, thank you, Kadi. So what's also happening back home in terms of, improving bilateral relations, but specifically with a particular country, and that is Taiwan. So let's talk Nigeria-Taiwan relations. And joining us for this important conversation is Ambassador Lee, I want to get that name correctly, Ambassador Andy Ping-Liu. He's the Taiwan representative in Nigeria, and he joins us right here in our Lagos studio. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning to you all. Thank you so much for having me onto this esteemed program. Thank you so much.
So I'm going to start this way. There's been a lot of, talk about Nigeria-Taiwan relations, and you've been also in the news recently urging the president to sign up to, a particular agreement. I'm trying to get the name now. That's the Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement. And prior to that time, there's also been advocacy for the movement of the Taiwan embassy to Abuja from Lagos. Give us, bring us up to speed with the progress that the Taiwan, foreign mission has achieved in that space.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to explain certain background, but I'll give you the update information. It's actually started from almost 1.5 years ago when when His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, during his presidential campaign, he made it clearly and openly in one particular occasion that he would like to make the southeast of Nigeria become Taiwan of Africa. He didn't mention other countries like Korea, China, but specifically Taiwan. That was November 2022. And a few months later, he got elected. We had a congratulation to him, and we opened it right to him that we are all ready on my side for the government and the people of Taiwan to get a really strong relation with Nigeria, because that is the window of opportunity to strengthen the bilateral relation. Because in one hand, Taiwan had all the know-how and technology that the world really admire. And Nigeria, you have all the natural resources that we don't have. We envy you so much. Because Taiwan is an island around 5 to 6 times larger than Lagos State, but we have no natural resources at all. But we have all the natural disasters that you don't have. Earthquake, volcano, typhoon, tsunami. You have nothing here, we have all of them. But we have nothing but only the brain power. So that's why we have to explain how Taiwan developed ourselves into the best technology of the world that we're holding now, because it's based on the instinct of survival. We have nothing in our island but full of natural disasters. So the only thing we can do is to invest generation of education to build up our workforce continuously. And up to now, we can proudly say that our illiteracy in Taiwan is less than 2%. That means 98% of our people can read and write and can work. This is the only way we can keep ourselves as a sustainable way to develop ourselves from agriculture, light industry, heavy industry, to high technology industry. And we still keep them all in our island. Because we are facing, most of the time, beside from the natural disaster, there's a big brother standing beside us. It's called China. They've been bullying and threatening Taiwan for more than half a century, but luckily, no exchange of fire or war between us, because both sides know that peaceful coexistence is the most important thing. We need to keep our good trading, our good investment going. So there was a time that China is our largest trading partners. So both sides are very practical, and we keep the good relation of mutually respect. At the same time, we want to do business. This is exactly what our government have been approached by your government in 1990s. So our mission started up here in Nigeria 1991 and stayed all the way until today with full diplomatic immunity and privilege without the name of the embassy. This shows exactly how practical and creative Nigerian government and the people have been. So we are proudly to be part of the Nigerian development into the non-oil economy because we stand for the model. And Taiwan is the top model recognized by Madame Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala from the World Trade Organization as the top 20 best trading model in the world. This is what Taiwan can offer to Nigeria, because we know how to survive without any natural resources, and we sustain and we survive and we come up to the best performance in the world. So this is the opportunity we think that Nigerian government has grabbed so tightly, because the agreement that you had just mentioned, the Investment Protection and Promotion Agreement called IPPA, had already been done with all the negotiation between Nigeria and Taiwan through the governmental negotiation. Now it's waiting for the final stage of signing. I'll be signing on behalf of my country, and your trade commissioner in Taiwan will sign on that agreement on behalf of your government. It will provide the best protection from your federal government and my government to our people investment into Nigeria and Nigerian investment in Taiwan. This is a mutually trading.
So Nigerians that are listening, it's quite exciting how you put this together, just the differences and what opportunities are available for both countries.
Yes.
But in specifics, which industries are we talking about here? What specifics that people want to know when the dots, when the lines are, when all the signatures are appended to those papers? What should we be expecting in what specific areas in terms of industry?
Right, because that will be a comprehensively covered agreement. It covers all aspects of any industry who would like to build investment relation with Taiwan. If we talk about agriculture, if we talk about energy and resources, natural resources, it can all be done, because this is exactly the structure between Taiwan and Australia. Because Taiwan and Australia already have a relation for more than 20 years. Every year, Australia and Taiwan will have a bilateral consultation among the permanent secretary level from the federal government of Australia with Taiwan on 3 topics: agriculture, energy, and mining. Isn't that fit into Nigeria category? You have the best natural resources in Africa. Nobody can deny that. And Taiwan is such a faraway island from Nigeria. But with the IPPA being properly negotiated and being signed in the near future, we believe that your natural resources, even from agriculture to mining and to energy, can be utilized by our investor coming into Nigeria. So talk about special category. Sorry, I cannot provide you with a specific category, but everything comprehensively covered, provided by Nigeria and offered to our investor to consider. We will consider, because that is the IPPA we badly needed for our investor and for your investor to come to Taiwan. You have so many Nigerian good trading partners in Taiwan doing export of machinery, automobile parts, and fabric into Nigeria. So we already have so many well-built trading relations. So once the IPPA being signed, and with the permanent secretary level delegation coming from Nigeria to Taiwan, and without delegation coming to Nigeria, then the model of Taiwan and Australia can be utilized here in Nigeria. That would be the most healthy relation. Yes.
Interesting. I know there's a lot of history, even in the past few years. The former government of Muhammad Buhari moved your office to Lagos. That's why you're asking for it to be moved back to Abuja. Yeah. And time and again you said, well, Taiwan is different from China. We don't want to get into all of that, politics and all of that. We understand that history and how it has been. So it's understandable that you want it moved back to the nation's capital, which is Abuja. I don't know how far that has come. But back to the point you made about what you have and what we have. We had a conversation at the start of the show how, Africa or Nigeria has just always been seen in that, from that lens. You have the raw, the natural resources, bring it, let us process it for you, and then we'll sell back a finished product to you. And it raises a question of technology transfer.
Yes.
Right. So how much of technology will be transferred? You have the largest, I think, chip maker company in the world, TSMC?
TSMC, yes.
Exactly. How much of that technology would you be willing to share and domicile here in Nigeria? Because, hey, we have the people. I mean, we have fantastic human resources.
Okay.
We have very intelligent people. There is land and all of that. But how well or how much are you willing to share technology and leave it here?
Thank you so much. That is an excellent question. 2 days ago, the U.S. President Donald Trump announced in the White House, together with the chairman of the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company called TSMC. TSMC is going to invest $100 billion in the U.S. within the coming 2 to 3 years. $100 billion. That is the biggest single investment from any foreign country into the U.S. in the history. So that demonstrates how strong our semiconductor company and the capability are doing. But that is the most advanced high technology. If we come down to reality, then what Nigeria will need for our investment or our technology coming into Nigeria would depend very much on your government, your federal government approach to us. But your federal government cannot just come up with anything. They have to go around to ask different states, because you have 36 states plus FCT. Every state has its own specialty and its own special interests. So that is what Australia has been doing. The federal government would ask from all the governors what your state would need from Taiwan to do technology, know-how, training, and also investment. Then your federal government will come up with a complete list of agenda to discuss with Taiwan. Then your federal government will take the lead with all the interests expressed by the state government, what Nigeria and each of the individual states would like to do with Taiwan. So that is the most practical way, because we cannot just come to Nigeria and selling our product and selling our technology. You have to have your own agenda. What is the best and priority for each of the states? Because my first coming to Nigeria was 1993. I was posted to Calabar, Cross River State, establish a consulate. I stayed 4 years in Calabar. I enjoyed all the good fish pepper soup, of course. But at the same time, most of the eastern area, they asked me how Taiwan will help them. I said exactly the same answer I answered 30 years after today. Your federal government have to take the lead to be the platform of collecting all the interests and priority from each state. Because each state might have different interests. From rivers, you might have the energy. From other states, you might have agriculture. You might have some other states with good minerals. They want to have Taiwan exporting our own technology and our own investment. Then your federal government, with a federal ministry like Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, or Ministry of Technology and Science, they will come up with a team. Then approach to our mission, and we send back to Taiwan, and now Taiwan will send a delegation coming to Nigeria to have a face-to-face negotiate.
But me, I'm particular about semiconductors, chips, manufacturing. Can we have that here? Yes, we have the resources, but we need to also ensure that it's domiciled here. Is that something that is going to happen?
Yes, because before our TSMC make that investment announcement in the White House, our investor from TSMC had already done setting up complete manufacturing factory in Japan and in Germany for the last 2 years. They haven't come to Africa yet. But our best technology for e-mobility, which is the solar energy driving of motorcycle and automobile, are coming to Nigeria, because November last year, they have already come to Lagos to launch the first ever electrical motorcycle ever in Africa here in Nigeria. combining the NNPC investment of solar energy installed in one of the filling stations.
Right.
So that technology we're talking about of importing, because we have to have step to step. Because if we jump up to the bad technology, it's going to take a few years to get there. But we need to get into a very reliable and practical way of importing our technology into Nigeria. But we all have to come back to the IPPA.
So all of these are contained in the IPPA, right?
Yes.
In 60 seconds, do you sense a hesitancy on the part of the Nigerian government to sign up to the IPPA because of Nigeria's commitment to the One China principle and, by extension, the imposing trade relations that Nigeria has with China, which is $20 billion, as against, the lesser measure in terms of trade with Taiwan?
Okay. One China policy is everywhere in the world. So many leading countries in the world, like the US, most of the European countries, Japan, Korea, they all have their One China policy. But it never hampered them to come up with their independent policy toward Taiwan. So they always have our mission in their capital, in Washington, D.C., in Paris, in London, in Tokyo, in Seoul. Our mission are always there, and we're expanding, even in Delhi. Just like India, we already have 3 offices all around India. Besides from Delhi, we have it in Chennai, and we opened a new office in Mumbai just last year. So everybody expanding relation with Taiwan, they will not be hampered or stopped by their One China policy. Because One China policy is only for China. Chinese can never dictating them to do relation with Taiwan. So that's why the Americans have the One China policy, but never hamper us to invest $100 billion.
Do you think China is dictating to Nigeria?
Have nothing to do. I mean, you shouldn't take that as a at the block of developing with Taiwan, because our mission are in Nigeria for more than 30 years. But how would Nigeria taking that stand and blocking your way of developing with Taiwan? IPPA should be separate issue with the One China policy. That's what are the world.
Brilliant. We're totally out of time. I wanted to ask you about skilling when it comes to technology that Taiwan can bring to Nigeria, but I understand we don't have much time.
Sorry for that.
Yeah. So we hope that in the short term rather than long term, Nigeria signs up to the IPPA to enhance bilateral relations with Taiwan. I want to thank you very much, Ambassador Andy Ping-Liu, Taiwan representative in Nigeria, Lagos studio.
Thank you.
We're not just going to give you the fish pepper soup, we're also going to give you a Calabar name, and Jeffrey will do that.
Is it Chief of Mission Trade Relations? So, which name do we give?
Give him a Calabar name.
Maybe sorry.
I'm thinking of what Calabar name.
Anekan. I don't want to.
We will get together.
Okay.
We'll get together with palm wine, fish peppers, everything.
Eyinabasi means the child of God.
Okay. Ambassador Ping-Liu, Eyinabasi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for taking your time. Thank you so much for taking your time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. From here, we move to another equally important conversation. Innovator Breakfast. That's the next segment when we focus on the achievements of women in different fields. It's an important conversation, so stay with us. We'll be right back.